Beloved, I am Zadkiel, keeper of the violet flame, and I come now to bring you a message of reclamation. Forgiveness is not surrender, not denial, not emptiness. Forgiveness is liberation from the shackles of the past so you may align freely with your highest present. Many carry weights from yesterday, words unsaid, wounds unhealed, grievances that echo through years. You may imagine forgiveness as weakness, as forgetting, as letting others off the hook, but true forgiveness is deeper, more sovereign, more radical. It is the act of reclaiming your field from the past so you may walk open, upright, undetained. It is not an event, it is a process, an art, a discipline. In the architecture of liberation, forgiveness is a portal, a threshold. This message invites you into that portal, and offers map, encouragement, and activation. You begin by seeing what stands between you and forgiveness. Often the obstacle is not the past itself, but the debt you feel, the vigilance you keep, the identity you built around injury. You may say, I cannot forgive because then I will lose my alibi, my protection, my memory. You clutch your wound as your credential, not realizing it is a weight you are called to set down. You may also believe that forgiveness means forgetting, or permitting new harm. But that is distortion. Forgiveness does not dismantle your discernment, it strengthens it. It frees your field so you may choose from clarity, not from wounding. Recognize that you have a thorn in your field, a repeated memory, a charged phrase, a replayed scene, and that until forgiveness moves, the thorn contracts your heart's architecture. Let that noticing be your opening. Forgiveness always begins inward, not in the external. You cannot forgive another until you forgive yourself for how much the wound shaped your patterns. There is shame, there is collapse, there is betrayal of self. Let your heart speak, I forgive the younger me who couldn't see, who fell into fear, who carried the burden hard. As you do, you disarm internal guards. Those camps of guilt and self-attack must be released first, for they make forgiveness impossible. When your inner magistrate retracts, your field becomes porous to mercy. Next, remember that forgiveness is not condoning. When you forgive, you do not rewrite what happened as acceptable. You see it accurately, you feel its injustice, and you choose a different contract with it, that it will no longer govern your life. You do not say, it did not matter, you say, it no longer defines me. That shift is subtle but powerful. The injured part may fear releasing the grip because it imagines losing justice or memory. But release is not erasure. You honor the memory but refuse the tyranny of it. You withdraw your life from the past's captive authority. Part of forgiveness is boundary redefinition. When you forgive, you may still need to guard your field so that the pattern cannot repeat. Forgiveness and boundary are siblings. You may forgive someone and yet maintain a changed relationship, restructured contract, distance, or soft closure. That is not hypocrisy, it is sanctified sovereignty. You protect your present by forgiving the past, not by reintroducing itself under old terms. You must also see how forgiveness is generational. Many wounds you carry are ancestral echoes, inherited contracts of pain, stories passed in lineage. Forgiveness may require a lineage act. You may sit and name, I forgive the line that betrayed, the ancestors who suffered undischarged, the silent generational agreements. Offer release across time. In doing so, you disrupt the current that feeds wounds through your life. Liberation of self becomes liberation of line. Invitation into forgiveness asks you to walk through with the violet flame. Use that current as medium. Imagine wrapping the wound in violet flame, letting it soften, transmute, return to light. Let retaliation or judgment dissolve into shimmer. Let memory be purified. The violet flame is not a bypass, it is tool. You must still chart the path through the wound, but the flame helps the tissues heal, the tone shift, the burden lighten. Work with breath, visual geometry, vocal tones, sacred presence. You will encounter resistance. The wound will cry, you forget too soon. The ego will murmur, if I forgive, I lose power. Remember, these voices are guardians of caution, not truth. Thank them, but continue. Let your field hold them without turning back. Sometimes you will go slow, the wound may peel in layers. That is appropriate. Fragmented forgiveness is better than violent surrender. Let the portal open gradually. Real forgiveness demands ritual. You may write a letter to the person or to the wound, not to send, speak it aloud, watch tears come, breathe into the vulnerability, then symbolically seal the letter, burn or bury it or dissolve in water. Follow with vow, I free myself, I step into my sovereignty. Then be quiet. Do not replay. Let your ritual anchor the shift. Your body, field, and soul need form to hold what your heart chooses. But also remember, forgiveness is relational work too. When possible, offer your forgiveness to those you forgive as long as it is safe and appropriate. Speaking the words I forgive you in calm presence can shift the vibration in the field. The other may not accept, but the gesture matters. You are not giving them peace, you give peace to your own self. Sometimes you do not speak the words, sometimes your inner tone suffices. Let your presence radiate forgiveness to the other's field. Integration is key. After forgiveness, your life must change. The decision to forgive is not cosmetic, it requires you walk differently. You must not re-enter old relational patterns, mental rehearsal, or emotional debt. You must anchor with new choices, different boundaries, new contracts, fresh decisions. Let forgiveness be valuable not only in free memory but in structural change. Forgiveness without changing conduct is shallow. True forgiveness remaps how your life moves beneath your skin. You may find that forgiveness reveals new clarity about which relationships are necessary to heal, which to release permanently, which to repair in mutual agreement. Some bridges may rebuild, others must remain closed. Do not guilt yourself over closed doors. Sometimes the loving decision is to maintain distance so that your heart may remain steady and not bleed again. You forgive and you choose your path from that place of freedom. As you walk forgiveness, you also become a healing anchor in the field. Others who sit with rage, fear, pain will feel your release as light, and in your steadiness they sense permission to begin their own journey. You do not lead with sermon, you lead with presence. Your forgiveness becomes beacon soft, powerful, dignified. You may carry cycles of regression. A wound you thought forgiven may re-emerge in a new disguise. When that happens, do not despair, return to the portal, layer by layer. Forgiveness is spiral, not linear. Each pass-through reveals a finer dimension. The liberation deepens. Over time, the architecture of your inner field changes. The memoried grooves soften. You carry less charge around certain names or events. Your language shifts. You react less automatically. You relate to presence rather than history. Your capacity to be in the moment expands. This is the proof of forgiveness done well. You will see that forgiveness multiplies. The light you free in yourself resonates outward, shifting relational fields, family lineages, collective griefs. Your portal becomes not just personal but collective. You become a node of re-release. As more forgive, the network of pain unmasks and coherence reweaves. In that way your liberation is not solitary, it is part of greater alchemy. Beloved, carry this invitation: forgiveness is not weakness, it is the strength to reclaim your field. It is not forgetting, it is integrating with dignity. It is not surrender, it is liberation. Walk through the portal. Feed your heart with mercy. Let the past release its hold. Step into the freedom your soul has waited for. I, Zadkiel, stand beside your wound, holding flame, waiting for your first step out of bondage into luminous sovereignty.